I'm as harmless as ladybug spots reflecting sun.
When my back is broken from all this weight, and the pain is terrifying.
From now on, I am the third word in a sentence of 16, and I don't care if you forget me, just don't let your thoughts perish.
And I could not hear, see, or feel what God was doing. And at this particular time, this particular guy, he flew in.
Cause when I look in the sky, I wonder if I'll be sent up there. Thinking of heaven, that's a place I would love to live in and literally spend endless years.
You're watching the East by Southeast Spoken Word Showcase. I am Selah V, and I'm glad to be here with Michael Casares. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So you moved to Austin now?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
How long has it been?
I've been here for about 3 years now. And change.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
But I thought you lived in San Antonio.
I did.
Has it been that long?
It has.
So you've been here for 3 years?
Just about, yeah.
Do you like it?
I love it.
It's treating you well?
Very well.
I thought so. Austin, Texas is the place to be for a poet, I would say.
I would agree.
Yeah, our poets are pretty fantastic. When we go to national poetry slams, we represent big. So
that's for sure.
What you been up to poetry-wise?
I'm still publishing with Virgo Gray Press, my publishing company. And
is that your publishing company or the one you're working with?
No, the one it is mine. Yeah.
Really?
So I've just been real busy with that. We've slowed down production a little bit on making books, but we're still doing all our periodicals, still getting good readership, and just doing other stuff. I did the festival they had this past week.
Everyone's talking about the festival.
Kept me busy. It was pretty cool. I did my first workshop there. I hosted at ACC, so that was kind of cool, and then did some readings, and then caught all the other poets in Austin and all the ones that were coming in.
Awesome.
So it was pretty cool.
Great stuff. Mm-hmm. So with the publishing, your outside people submit to your publishing company?
Yes.
Oh, I'm really intrigued about that. I want to...
yeah, well, I publish like mostly collections of like poetry, but we also do anthologies and periodicals. Like we have an internet blog that we anthologize every year into print, and that's called Carcinogenic Poetry. And then also we have other ones like the Occupy Poetry Project, not to be confused with the Occupy Poetry. And then also Nothing, No, and Nowhere, which doesn't just do poetry, it also does like short fiction and interviews and stuff like that.
Back up, what's Occupy Poetry? Activism poetry?
Well, yeah, so I wanted to make a blog about activist, patriotic type poetry that kind of screamed against, screened against, I guess, nihilistic ideas.
Okay.
So that you can get more to the common or the main point of like patriotic poetry, not just like, anarchy, basically. So I made the I made the OccupyPoetryProject.com so that it could capture those ideas. But then there's an Occupy Poetry project, just Occupy Poetry, and that one's more like anarchist, and then it also kind of chronicles older pre-published poems that have already been published.
How interesting. So you've been up to a lot.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm excited to hear what you brought. You get ready to get started?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm ready whenever you
Austin, Texas. Let's see what Michael has to share with us. I am excited.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here on the EXSE Spoken Word Poetry Showcase. My name's Michael Casares, as Selah nicely introduced. The poems I chose to select tonight, they're kind of varied, but I'd like to start with the first few are actually traveling poems. I really love travel, and then, the inspiration that comes from that. So the first poem I'd like to share is entitled The Road is My Witness, which I wrote on a trip. It was actually a bus trip between here and we went to Niagara Falls, and we also went to like Washington, D.C. and New York City. Me along with a bunch of misunderstood Christians. The road is my witness. Rain showering on the stowaway bus. The lone black star amidst the light. Those who need faith to be kind. Those who need faith to be blind. Those who lack faith in humanity, but need it to love their brothers as themselves. I am the black star of black light, to absorb all that's negative with colors of compassion, riding through the spritz that hits 80 miles an hour like ant bites in the wind. Light and positive. Keep the energies high. No matter what method, be it blind, be it subservient, be it sincere. Christ's compassion does not come in shades of gray. Buddha's love, Muhammad's insight, stir the rainbow light of Akashic awareness, consciousness, soul, light, body, mixed into the ethos, propagating strength in numbers. Even the odd man finds home in acquiescence. Even the difference makes us the same. Passengers, guests, in these waning houses, amidst these great tribulations. They are waiting for the end. They are praying for the end, with faith that hate and war and death will be no more. The difference, a gap conspicuous between the groups that act and the groups that pray. This next piece I'm going to read is entitled Mexico 2003. It's been some years since I've been to Mexico, but I used to take a trip with one of my friends to see his family about 17 hours into Mexico proper. So this is a little piece I took away from that. It's called Mexico 2003. Plaza tenements like family shops throughout cobblestone, brickstone, dirt roads. Men with machine guns ride around like Rambo. I am an outsider, but somehow family. Una old familia. Village towns are deceptive. Rough exteriors to elegant interiors, no myth. Never doubt the ingenuity of your brothers and sisters. Gracious, generous hearts through spiral stairways, cobbled walls, rainforest showers on crossed wood floor mats. The sound of wild birds and animals, hogs grunting and squealing at first light, crying for their turn at the trough. Abuelita tiene 72 años. Grandma's 72. She works hard as the day she started, a young girl, uneducated, but the pride of the town. She will always be productive until the day she dies, never settling for rest lest her bones nest and be set in stone. A deep magic in the land, protected by the seniors of the towns, even bus to bus, in precarious transportation. A distant look inside those ancient eyes reveal empty reflection, saddened like the rain puddles muddy beneath the cloudy noon. We are deep in the land, days away from home in a territory designated unsafe for the childish games of greedy men. The people here are happy, though. Simple is the energy, an easy flow for a fast outsider like me, kicking up the dust and pebbles on the sidewalk. Spirits of the land greet me beneath the stars, talk to me over a game of chess as I sit exposed to a million friends shining above me, trying to fight with the moonlight to keep my attention, to pull me into space away from the daydreams. Concentrate. Cigarette invading young lungs that want to be old. Checkmate, the king is down. La Familia awaits his return, crawling on their knees before the idols adorned in gold. El mercado se vende Jesus Cristo. Just outside the cathedral doors, selling trinkets of Jesus Christ, they find salvation one way or another. This poem is entitled My Visit to New York, and I'm just going to preface it by saying that I wrote this probably a year or two ago, so it's not in reference to any of the unfortunate tragedies that happened during the hurricane up there. This is my visit to New York. Like a maze or a labyrinth, I felt very claustrophobic. To think of all the goings-on in cities I've lived in, I couldn't imagine in the complexity built, the history created, the energy that once and still existed. In the constrained constructions of illusion, I'm sure every place is the same, with all its own stories to share, but so much has transpired. Birthed from the willful passion to find freedom versus lawless, covert financial treason, it has shaped the state of this world. From media to news to politics and views, New York once was the apple of the banker's eye. Lament and phony capitalism that is actually fraudulent and crippled this nation. Coldness and a chill snuck through the humidity of June. Thickness abounded in the gray sprawl, no blue, no sun, just gloom, and a light mist casting a moody effervescence across the walkways where energies passed to and fro and bumped into each other and ignored each other and watched each other, connected though disconnected by being unconscious of the true nature of life. There is no escape from what man has built up upon himself and upon us all, whether here or there. That's not to say there isn't hope or a peace to the end of history. It is simply the story we've come to expect because the illusion has taught us to believe. This last poem I'm going to read kind of follows up on some of the themes in that New York poem. Just like I was saying, because that's where most of the banking situations are taking place and all these corporations and things have landed. So this one kind of follows that theme. It's called QE Infinity, which is a play on a quantitative easing. Infinity, as y'all may know, when quantitative easing came in, that was raising the debt ceiling and devaluating the value of our dollar. QE Infinity. Billions of dollars of taxpayer money being spent to bail out banks and corporations, creators of their own injury, fraud by any other name. They tell the people it's their debt. They tell us it's our debt. They tell them it's their fault. They tell us it's our fault. Shall we get political or take an open-minded view of history? Under Clinton, remove Glass-Steagall so banks can legally gamble with the securities of their clients. Could the debt truly be ours since we allow them to get away with it? A roll of the dice, the wise man said as he sang to the children of the sun, all present to hear the praise and raise the vibrations before we reach that final time of the end. Parents and godparents before them, and grandparents and mothers and fathers of our spirit, we all came together for one final night of contact. It was a joke unfunny. A roll of the dice to the health of sovereign lands. We are children of the sun. Jail the bankers, Father says. Don't let them get away with it. Remove the politicians who do not comply, who are there for corporations to buy and to revolve from government office to corporate office and back again, defacing the seat of the public servant. History continues. Bailouts under Bush, continued under Obama. All treasurers lackeys of Goldman Sachs promise destruction without more money. Support for the Fed, these bought politicians. Your common Republican, your common Democrat, paid for by the same insider interests. Grand distractions, secluded, delusional mass awakening, the population awakening, the delusion breaking like dynamic waves against our static shores, the crumbling sovereignty tied to the currency's buying power, and an unknowing, uneducated people starting to budge. History will show a wise stand by people like the place Iceland, who declared independence from these bankers' selfish, immoral schemes, while those wise to the stories of the past expatriate away to safer foreign lands. Thank you.